alone, and it's a difficult place to be. The second thing I want you to see from this is that butterflies don't need 16 pairs of shoes. There's another bad proverb that I just came up with. So he says, "Beloved, I urge you," what? "As aliens and strangers." As aliens and strangers. I read a little bit about caterpillars, both on the internet and from other sources this week. And caterpillars, that's a neat situation right there. I think caterpillars are kind of interesting. But a caterpillar, when it emerges from its cocoon, has undergone what they call a metamorphosis, which means a complete change. And that caterpillar goes into the cocoon as one thing, which is a crawling, whatever it is, thing. I read about it, I don't remember what they called it. And it emerges from the cocoon a butterfly. And so before, that caterpillar would eat leaves. But now that it's emerged from the cocoon, it doesn't eat leaves, it actually drinks. It only drinks. I didn't know that. Butterflies only drink, and they drink nectar. Before, the caterpillar walked everywhere, and now it flies. By the way, I didn't know that a butterfly can only fly if it's 86 degrees. Did you know? The body has to be 86 degrees. That's why caterpillars sometimes sun themselves in the morning. I guess if it's not 86 degrees, they can't fly. Well, that was interesting. But they've completely changed. It's a different creation. Well, for the Christian, our cocoon, so to speak, is the waters of baptism. And it's really important for you to understand that you go into the waters of baptism as one thing, and there you emerge from the waters of baptism as a new thing, a new creation. That's what the Bible tells us. And an important aspect in our fight against evil is simply believing that you are indeed a new creation. I know it sounds simple. I know it sounds a little Eastern, but it's the truth. You're going to have a really difficult time fighting evil in this life if you don't first believe that you are indeed a new creation. If you believe that you're still a caterpillar, then you'll never fly. If you believe that you're a caterpillar, you're going to continue to eat leaves or whatever. You have to believe first that you are indeed a new creation. Turn them, if you would, to 1 John. I just want to read you a couple of passages from 1 John, which is just a couple of books down the line. Turn to 1 John chapter 3, and I'll read you a couple of verses out of here. I think this book, particularly for me, is a very difficult book to read because it's written to people who are supposed to be new creations. I think a lot of us have been conditioned to be preached to and to read books about Christianity that just assume that we're failures, that assume that we can't do it. But John is writing this letter assuming that you have changed, and that's why it's hard for me to read. Listen to this. Chapter 3, verse 1. "See how great a love the Father has bestowed upon us, that we should be called children of God, and such we are. For this reason the world does not know us, because it did not know him. Beloved, now we are children of God, and it has not appeared as yet what we shall be. We know that when he appears we shall be like him, because we shall see him just as he is. And everyone who has this hope fixed on him purifies himself, just as he is pure. Everyone who practices sin also practices lawlessness, and sin is lawlessness. And you know that he appeared in order to take away sins, and in him there is no sin. No one who abides in him sins, and no one who sins has seen him or knows him. Little children, let no one deceive you. The one who practices righteousness is righteous, just as he is righteous. The one who practices sin is of the devil, for the devil has sinned from the beginning. The Son of God appeared for this purpose, that he might destroy the works of the devil. No one who is born of God practices sin, because his seed abides in him. And he cannot sin, because he is born of God. By this the children of God and the children of the devil are obvious. Anyone who does not practice righteousness is not of God, nor the one who does not love his brother." And then turn over to chapter 5, just the first 5 verses here. Here John continues, "Whoever believes that Jesus is the Christ is born of God. And whoever loves the Father loves the child born of him. By this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God and observe his commandments. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not burdensome. For whatever is born of God overcomes the world, and this is the victory that has overcome the world, our faith. And who is the one who overcomes the world, but he who believes that Jesus is the Son of God?" So you can see there that John's writing to us as though we've been changed, that there's been a metamorphosis, that when we came out of the waters of baptism, we are indeed new people. We're reborn. We're now children of the day. We're children of God. We're children of righteousness. Therefore, our natural state of living should be in righteousness. That when we sin, it's somehow unnatural now. We're new. We're different. Listen, it's very clear from the Old Testament that Moses hated what was going on to the Israelites in Egypt. He knew that his people, Israel, were being oppressed. As he stood out there in the desert with his family, he knew that his fellow countrymen were being oppressed and treated unjustly in Egypt. But do you think for 1 minute that Moses would have done anything to go and get his people out of Egypt if he wasn't first commissioned to do it? There's not a chance. Moses would have died out there, a shepherd in the desert. The only reason why Moses did all those amazing and powerful things in going and getting the Israelites out of Egypt was because God came and commissioned him.